Hello and welcome once again to HSPN Pregame Live as we'll bring you up to kickoff for Game 2 of a 3-week homestand for Hudson. I'm Jared Ware.
And I'm Alex Lai. Thank you for tuning in.
Right slam in the middle of a big homestand for the Hawks. They'll welcome in a familiar foe. This time it's Oakmont coming to town. And this season, the Morgan Bowl has been less of a home field advantage and more of a house of horrors for the Hawks, who have been outscored 50-6 in their 2 previous home games. Tonight, it will be another big challenge as the Spartans of Oakmont come to town, and they always field a talented squad. This year's team will be no different. This iteration of Oakmont is led by Tyler Caforio, who scored 5 rushing touchdowns this season, and he will test the Hawks' run defense once again. And this time, they'll need to pass that test if the Hawks want to pick up their 2nd win of the year. But before kickoff, let's get more on the pregame show. Let's kick it over to Alex Schley with our rundown.
Tonight on HSPN Live, we'll catch up with Coach Lentino and get his take on the Hawks' struggling defense. Then we'll head over to the whiteboard and break down the Hawks' passing game. Then we'll take a look at a tale of tapes against the showdown tonight against Oakmont. And go back in time all the way to 1990 with the Hudson-Oakmont matchup here at Morgan Bowl. But first, let's take a look at Hudson's highlights from last week against Clinton.
Clinton inside the Morgan Bowl for what's a traditional matchup in the area as the Gales take on the Hawks, and this would be a long one for Hudson. First drive for the Gales, Grady back to fire deep for Alex Ortiz, a 52-yard bomb to open up the scoring. It was 7-0 Clinton, and they would keep on rolling still in the first half. Grady with his 2nd touchdown pass of the game. This time he finds Jack Duggan, who goes in 14-0 at the half. 3rd quarter, Tom Russell, who's having a good season for Clinton, goes up the middle, makes a man miss, takes it all the way down to the 4-yard line, and then on the very next play, they would give it to that same man, and he goes in first man through, touchdown, 20-0, and Clinton, at the very end, they would add one more, and the final would go on to be 28-0. This one scored by Brandon Whitney in the red zone. Clinton picks up the win, 28-0 inside the Morgan Bowl over Hudson. The Hawks fall to 1-3 on the year.
That was a tough one for Hudson last week. If you're the Hawks, you just want to forget that one as soon as possible and get ready for tonight. But for more on how the Hawks will bounce back and their game plan this afternoon, let's head into the Schley Report.
The Hawks defense has been struggling all season, giving up over 20 points each game. Even in Westboro, in their winning game against Westboro, they gave up huge running yards. We caught up with Coach Lentino at their walkthrough this week to get his thoughts.
I'm Coach Lentino. I'm in charge of the defense. That's a really good question about the defense. We have been giving up a lot of big plays. We've made a lot of adjustments this week. We've moved some guys around to make sure that we're getting a lot of different guys some playing looks, and we're going to give them a bunch of different schemes. Hopefully, try to confuse them a little bit more. We've corrected a lot of little mistakes. The kids are getting better each week, so we're hoping that that will eliminate some of those big plays and keep us in the game a little bit longer. Oakmont is a very large team. They're much bigger than we've seen. They looking at the film, they're about the same size as Auburn, which is kind of a little bit of a disadvantage to us since as you can tell, we're lacking a little bit of size this year. But we've moved a couple guys around even on the offense to try to combat that a little bit. So hopefully we're going to try to take advantage of our speed. We're going to try to give them some different looks and hopefully get us into a better position to make better plays. All season long, we've tried to move guys around to try to disrupt their blocking schemes. We'll continue to blitz. We've got different packages this week that hopefully will confuse them a little bit, get some guys in the backfield, be able to make some plays. We're going to take a few more risks again to combat their size. They've got size, we've got speed, so the best way to combat their size is to get our guys moving ahead of them and hopefully make some plays that way.
So the key for the Hawks tonight is going to have to be to stay strong defensively.
It's great stuff as always, Alex, in the Schley Report. And now it's our weekly trip to the whiteboard for a little segment called Chalk Talk.
At the whiteboard once again, and we're talking about a passing concept this week. The last 2 weeks we've been on the ground. We've talked about jet sweep and we talked about misdirection. Today I want to talk about smash, which you will see, again, you'll see this at every level of football. This is a fundamental passing concept. So we're at a trips formation. We're in the shotgun. We've got one tight end to the offside. But we're going to be focused over here. What we're looking at route-wise is your outside guy, he's running a dig, inside guy running a dig, and the guy closest to the quarterback is going to run a post. Now, at this point, it becomes a high-low read. So what you're trying to do is get the cornerback, these cornerbacks to suck in. We'll just put them in there real quick. And it leaves you all this space up here for this inside guy to break into. If that read's taken away by cornerbacks who drop off, then you attack one of these two underneath routes working inside to out. So your reads would be 1, this is your first, your second, and then your third. Quarterback's eyes, you got to work through them. We saw Armel Conyers throw a touchdown on a corner route to beat Westboro. It was a high-low concept similar to smash. I think the Hawks should be able to use smash effectively for the rest of the season, and specifically tonight against Oakmont.
Now let's take a more specific look at tonight's matchup. It's Hudson and Oakmont. Let's roll the tail of the tape from last year's matchup.
Let's go back to last year's tape as Hudson took on Oakmont, and the first thing we're going to look at is a dive inside. It's a mesh point option. Look at the big game ripped off here by the Hudson running back. We'll run it back and watch what happens up front. The Hudson line winning their battles, hat on a hat. Another guy winning his battle up front. Down low, he's winning his battle. Look just above him, number 73. He's running into open space. He's looking for someone to hit. That gives the running back 2 lanes, front side hole and the cutback lane. He decides to go cutback, and he picks up a huge gain. But the key to that is they're winning their battles up front on the offensive line. The Hawks need to do that tonight. Now, Oakmont, they're known for running the option, so let's take a look at how the Hawks defended it last year. And this is picture-perfect responsibility football defensively. Look at these linebackers. He's got inside man has quarterback, outside man has pitch man. They've broken down. They're waiting for the play to develop, and now we'll run it in full speed. The inside man attacks quarterback, forces the fumble, but they have the option covered. And now, back to the Hudson offense. They attack the outside portion of the field in their passing routes. Here's a throw to the outside, to the boundary. Another throw to the outside. Now let's break this down and look at what happens. And the key to this is throwing with anticipation, throwing on time. Look at the cornerback. He's bailing out. There's all sorts of space for that receiver to break into. Look at the quarterback. He is throwing it with the receiver's foot in the ground, making that out-breaking route. It's all about timing. Those are the keys to the game.
This isn't the first time Hudson and Oakmont have matched up. All the way back in 1990, these two played a heck of a game. And lucky for you, we pulled the footage. So let's hop in the time machine and take a look at the highlights. Huh? What's the next one? What am I doing? Yeah, so I was like, what? Now we're ready to head back up to the booth where Jared will do the play-by-play for you for tonight's game. Make sure to tune back in at halftime for more on the Hawks.